We're just going to have to jump into this. Hey, guys, this is Chris with Can We Be Real with the one and only Chelsey Larson, my wife. Our goal is to get through this today, but this is us. We're not going to be anything other than us. So introduce yourself. Tell them who you are because they need to know.
You just said who I was.
But I want to know who you are.
Well, my maiden name is Chelsey Dietz. My married name is Larson. I'm 35 years old.
God, girl.
Lived in Seguin in my entire life. I guess that's all you need to know.
That's exciting. Oh, I've got to let them know the coffee cup of the day. It's actually, Aaron is going to love this. It's Faith Church. Faith Church, coffee cup of the day. It's my brother and my son's church. If you want your coffee cup shown, send it to me. I'll drink from it the next podcast. Anyway, hi.
Hi.
I think I've been so giddy about this today just because I know what happens when you and I get together and do stuff like this. So a lot of people have been asking about marriage, about relationships. Mm-hmm. How long have we been? I know the answer. It's going to make it sound bad because I know it's 13 years. Mm-hmm. But tell them a little bit of our backstory, how young we were. Give them a little bit of our backstory of how we met, just a little synopsis.
We met at TBI. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what that is, that's Texas Bible Institute
in Bubble.
Columbus, Texas. We met there. He was a student. I had already graduated. And we met in 2006. We started dating after you graduated, then got engaged 3 months later, and then got married a year later, and then had a baby a year after we got married.
Yes.
Yes.
We have 4 children. We've got my oldest son, Aaron.
He's 15.
Who's 15. Then my oldest daughter, Presley, who's 12.
Yep.
Haven is 10. And Houston is 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been thinking a lot about what we could talk about today.
Okay. Oh, we've been married for
13
years. Mm-hmm. Together for 14.
14. Maybe 15. Pushing 15. Getting close.
Sure.
Getting close. Because this is about the time that we met. What was my first phone call to you after we met that first time? What was that phone call I called you?
Oh, to tell me you didn't like me?
That's basically.
Yeah.
I was afraid of what people thought. And then you went and I went and then you couldn't resist.
Oh, is that what it was?
That's exactly what it was.
You can keep telling yourself that.
Makes me feel better. So we have a lot of people that look at marriage.
It's so hot in here.
It is super hot in here. It's super hot. It is 82 degrees in this room right now.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. If that right there could just clip.
Get it together.
People ask us all the time how we've made it. Mm-hmm. You know, we've made it this long. Mm-hmm. Not easy. It's not easy to go as long as we have for 13 years to be married. So let me ask you, what, in your opinion, was something that was the hardest part? We're going to jump straight in. And don't be afraid. There's nothing you can't talk about.
Okay.
What is one of the hardest parts about getting married young?
Well, I think it was your maturity. It was really hard because you were 19 when we got married, and you were super immature.
Yeah.
I love you, but you were. You know you were.
I have no qualms with it. I know.
He would do crazy things, y'all, like jump off a bridge. And, I mean,
Hold on. Didn't you jump off a bridge
No,
too?
I did not.
What about that ear problem you've got?
I jumped off a pier. That's a pier, not a bridge. There's a big difference.
Listen, somebody behind the camera became a man that day because he jumped off of the bridge.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying.
And he yelled,
exactly.
I love you, Chris Larson, as he was falling from the air.
Yeah, so I think that was the hardest part, getting married. We were married super young.
Super young. I turned 20 on
19.
the boat.
Yeah, and I turned 22. Yeah.
See, and I think, I know a lot of people ask, were we too young to get married? I was like, well, I know people that are 50 that aren't ready to be married, you know?
Yeah.
I would probably say one of the hardest parts about getting married young is there's a lot of things that you kind of want to experience, even to do. Mm-hmm. And this might even get tied to how fast we, had Presley. Right. We ran into life
full force.
Full force, full speed.
We weren't playing games.
No, not at all. No, I think that's the problem is we were playing games. So that's how Presley got here.
Wow, awkward.
Listen, we're going to be real. I'm going to make some jokes along the way. I'm with you. My goal is to make you laugh as much as I possibly can in this podcast.
Okay. You're going to get me wheezing?
Wheezing. Oh, my gosh. That's my favorite thing. If I can get you. Oh, my gosh. Hopefully, that's the goal today. The goal is for you guys to see the very many shades of Chelsey's laugh and giggle and wheeze. That's our goal. Okay, so... yeah, I think one of the hardest parts for us was the fact of, since we had been together so short of an amount of time, learning people is hard in itself.
Right.
Marriage is hard in itself.
I remember our very first fight.
Oh, you do?
We fought over how to mop the floor.
Yes.
And I was taught one way and you were taught another way. And
she said it different this time. She said, see, I was taught one way and you were taught the wrong way.
Well,
That's
I was
Chelsey
just about
Larson.
to say you were taught a different way, which may have not been the right way. I'm just saying.
If the floor gets clean, the floor gets clean.
No, I don't think your mama taught you how to do that, but I think you just came up with it on your own.
Hey.
Anyways, that was one of our biggest fights when we got married.
When you're looking back, it's so funny.
It's hysterical.
It's
to think about
so
we
funny.
were fighting over how to mop a floor.
Yes.
Should have been grateful that you were mopping the floor,
but see that right there is looking back hindsight. Okay, so let's look at now. You say, our first fight was over mopping the floor, and you were like, man, I grateful because not every man out there mops, right? And I think about you went through when you were pregnant with Presley at such a young age so fast. You got turned to mom mode super fast, and I had to force myself to learn that. Right. What your body did already, just normally out of instinct. I'm still like, man, hey, I'm young, I can still do this, and learning to take care of you while you were pregnant.
Right.
Wasn't easy.
No.
Learning those things.
Yeah.
Give me something else. Give me something that was hard at the beginning of our marriage.
Learning to live with a guy was really hard. I had, I'd only lived with my daddy, and
him and I couldn't be more different.
Yeah, y'all are very different, and you were very, very messy, and it was.
No, hey, have I not changed?
Oh, you've changed. You've gotten a lot better.
We're just praying for you, but keep going.
It was just different, living with a man. It was just totally different.
See, I think about all the little things that we thought were so big at that time.
Oh yeah, they were huge.
They were huge.
They consumed our world.
I remember the first time you said, "Now you do know you won't discipline our girls," and I was like, "No, I'm going to discipline all of our children, right?" But those communication lines, it just took time to go down that way. It took time to learn those things. I would say another thing that was hard at the beginning for us was there was still a lot of wounds I had.
Right.
And there was a lot of wounds you had, and situations would make them, you're fine, situations would make them arise.
Yeah.
I went from Alabama to Texas. I didn't know anybody at all. Yeah. You were it. Yeah. And I remember we were at Brittany's, and I was hanging, and you looked at me and said, we don't have to be next to each other every moment. Yeah. And I was like, but I had to learn what it was to be able to be comfortable in us, even when my love language wasn't being spoke to, as we were learning to speak into each other's love language. And it's been a process.
It has.
It's definitely been a process. What would you say? Let's say you've got a young couple sitting across the table from us right now. Mm-hmm. Same age, young Chris and Chelsey. and you're looking at young Chelsey, what would be your first piece of advice you would give to young Chelsey?
Get ready, baby. Hold on tight.
Dang.
It's going to be a wild ride.
It's been fun, though.
It has been.
What, give me something. Give me a piece of advice. Not just hold on, but I want something.
Let's think here. Well, it's what we've learned over the years. You know, we fought a lot over, three things that we always talk about in marriage counseling.
Every couple fights
couple's,
about these things.
Sex, communication, and finances.
And see, we had to learn those things. You paid the bills at the beginning.
Right, which I hated.
We found out very quick when it was
Still hate. I don't ever want to pay bills.
Why didn't this thing get paid? Oh, I forgot. You know what, Chris? I can't stand dealing with this. You deal with it.
I'm too forgetful.
And so it was a funny thing to learn there. And especially, I think it was another added thing of not only were we having to learn to be together, we were on at all times because we were in the ministry.
Right. So we...
Well, remember that one time your mom said, listen, it was at youth, if you guys are going to argue, don't do it in front of people. You need to go away. Oh, I remember. And she's like, you guys can't do that. And it was like we were learning.
Yeah, we were babies.
Babies.
We were kids.
But, I sit there and look and think about now we're this many years in. If I was sitting there talking to young Chris, I would tell him, I would say, all the things that you think are really, really important right now, you're going to find out that are not that important.
Right.
All the things that you invested in and you really, and a lot of the friends that I thought were even real close friends at that time, I was going to, those awkward things to where all of a sudden now we had kids and our other friends didn't have kids.
Right. I think we were the only ones with kids.
That's it. How hard was that?
It was hard because we were still young and we wanted to do everything else everybody else was doing, but we couldn't. We had to sacrifice those times to be with Presley. It was really difficult in those moments to just be mom instead of young girl who wants to go live her life. We weren't ready, I don't think, for the freedom that kind of gets taken away when you have a baby. No one prepares you for that part.
No.
The world makes it out to be like it's all sheeps and rainbows. And it's beautiful, but you lose all your freedom. You can't just drop everything and, get up and go to the movies or get up and go to dinner. You have to get a babysitter and then arrange it. And then she has to be well. And, you have to go through all that. And it was really hard when we were young. Yeah. To wrap our brains around when all of our other friends were out doing whatever,
And that's the thing to where, we were blessed that we had people in our lives to help us when we would run into these things.
Right.
Your mom would always come over and be like, all right, now you tell me your side, you tell me your side. Or
she was our mediator.
She was our mediator, and she did amazing. If you guys don't know, that's the lady that was on last week. That's who we're talking about, Madre. What would be something that if you could go back and do different in our marriage over the last 13 years?
Oh, my gosh. That's loaded.
I know.
Do different?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would do anything different.
Yeah?
Everything that we've done has made us who we are today. And I don't think I would change a thing. I mean, yeah, there's things that we could tweak here and there, but it will never be perfect.
Yeah.
And if you expect perfection, then you're living in some sort of dream world.
Yeah.
Because, baby, let me tell you, it ain't happening.
See,
but I wouldn't do anything different.
I would go back, and as fast as my brain works, before you finished it, I've already have an answer to what you've had to say. And the next question, I would wait and listen more.
That's good.
I would listen more to where it's not what you were always saying, it's what you were feeling, and that was a hard thing for me to learn. I think back about our first argument that was when you were pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Because you wanted to leave me
Oh my
and
gosh.
go tubing.
Hold on, you can't say it like
with
that.
your friends.
So, okay. So young Chris saw, hey, I got invited to a birthday party to go tubing. Mm-hmm. Okay. No girls were going. It was just guys. And there wasn't.
I don't think so.
I'm
I
pretty
don't think
sure.
that's accurate.
I'm pretty sure.
I think you're
Jeremiah, we need your
what you
fact check.
want to
Anyway,
remember.
and I said, hey, I want to go. And you were upset because you didn't get to go.
Yeah, because I was 7 months pregnant. I was larger than a house.
Preeclampsia, right?
It was huge. My
Was
eyelashes were swollen.
this invisible sandals, Chelsey?
Yeah.
Chelsey maintained all of her water weight, and when she took her shoes off, you knew what kind of shoes she was wearing because it was the imprinted into her feet. You knew it was, girl.
Anyways, I was huge. Let's just say that.
I'm not allowed to say that.
I was.
Okay.
I was.
So, and I'm thinking, you're here safe at the house. I want to go get out.
Mm-hmm.
But it was learning the fact that now you're my covenant partner.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to make decisions based on not just what I wanted to do, but also trust what you were going through, even though I couldn't understand it and feel it.
Yeah.
Which is not easy. Understanding these things of what we're going through, understanding you and I could not come from more of a different background.
Oh, completely different.
I mean, I grew up to where I've had a biological father I've never met. I grew up with my dad, my stepdad, but my dad, and then I have a stepdad now, so I've had 3 fathers in my life, right? Mm-hmm. Or quote, and you've had just Lane the whole time, mm-hmm. right? You have one sister. Mm-hmm. I have bukus of siblings, right?
I wouldn't say bukus. That's a little bit over exaggeration.
Finding out more about them every week. So I'm like, oh, hey, I got another brother and sister. So it's interesting to look at how different what you were used to life being and what I was used to life being.
Right.
And this is why we typically, if we do marriages, we tell people, hey, we're going to sit together for 6 appointments, 5 appointments to talk. Because most people have a skewed version of what marriage and relationships are.
Right.
Because I don't just marry you. You don't just marry me. I marry your story. Mm-hmm. I marry your thoughts. Mm-hmm. I marry your parents. I marry your family. Mm-hmm. I marry your background. I marry your mistakes. Everything. So what is one of the highlights? What's one of the highlights of our marriage looking back? Just something that that always sticks out. When you think of over the last 13 years, just a highlight of something that sticks out about our marriage.
Of course, it was when all of our children were born.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to cry. It was when Aaron came into our life was a huge highlight.
Yeah.
It was like this thing that had been missing. And he just completed us and made it all better. So I think that was a huge highlight of our marriage.
We still have that picture hanging up on our wall.
I know. I love that picture.
That his grandma gave to us.
No, I think it was his aunt.
Was it aunt?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it was grandmother aunt got it for us. And I love the little moments. Like, this may sound silly to other people, but we still play tag.
Yeah.
Have fun. We'll bump each other, and you'll go to reach, and then I'll go to reach, and all of a sudden, and here's the worst part. Now, our tag's gotten slower.
More feeble.
My bad old knee will just go out on me anyway.
Will start hurting.
And the worst part now is this: we can't just play tag anymore because all of a sudden our kids want to jump in, and they get violent.
Yeah.
They want to jump in, and they want to. I can't wrestle you anymore because you start yelling for reinforcement. It's not fair.
But it's not fair how big you are.
No,
and taking us down.
It's not, no, because then all of a sudden you yell Chihuahua and Haven and Houston run up and they start body dropping me and trying to hurt people.
They got my back, bro.
Listen, they should be like, we can't get in the middle of this. This is between mother and father.
Work like that.
See,
it don't work like that.
That's not fair. So, I got a question for you.
What
would you change about our wedding?
had a beautiful big wedding, and it was beautiful and so much fun. We had the best time.
Wait, hold on. What about the silly string?
Oh my God, I wanted to kill your groomsmen. I'm still gonna hurt them for that. I've yet to get them back for that. Yeah, they almost ruined my night. Just saying.
No, let's talk about this. We're gonna go there. Can we be real?
Yeah,
let me
let's be real.
Let me paint the picture for you real fast. We are at the end. No, hold up. We go in there. We at the end. I'm looking at the cameraman right now. We at the end of our reception. Bow chicka, wow. We at the end of our wedding reception. I've been waiting. Okay? And we're going. And the rule was you were not allowed to use silly string because you could lose your deposit. At that moment, I could care less about a deposit. So we get into the car.
I care.
I'm like, man, all the old school slow jams are running through my mind. And I'm like, hey. And I look over, and Bitterface is over here like this.
I was so mad.
I said, girl, what is wrong with you? They knew not to. I said,
we had told them to.
You know where we're going, right? I know, but I was like, is this really what is going down? Hold up. Pamela, if you don't talk to your daughter and tell her, listen up. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm still bitter about that.
I can tell.
Or, okay, can we be real?
I don't know.
You get scared when I say this.
Yeah.
The next morning I wake up. I am. Yes. Yes. Yes.
No.
I wake up and her mom and dad are standing next to the bed with breakfast.
No, they are not. You didn't wake up.
Hey guys, what's up?
Knocked on the door. We had to take their
And she
car.
let them in.
We had to take their car to our honeymoon. What else were we going to do? Sorry, y'all still out there.
Yes.
They were so kind to bring us breakfast. And thank God they woke us up because otherwise
We would have
missed
been
the boat.
late. And then we'll
Just
leave the story out of what my groomsmen did.
Yeah, let's leave that one out.
Okay. Even though they almost got us kicked off the boat.
Yeah, no. No.
We're not allowed to? Okay.
Let's just say they put stuff in our luggage.
That they pulled out in front of everyone.
The whole ship full of people.
Yeah, you gotta say it.
They were fuzzy pink handcuffs. They put in my suitcase and they called Mr. and Mrs. Larson.
Yeah.
And we're like, here,
big and loud.
what is this? In front of everyone. And I was like,
It was super embarrassing.
super embarrassing. But that was my groomsmen. So give me.
Dying of
I know it's 83 now. I can see it. Give me something you would change about the wedding.
Well, I had thought about it in the past. Well, it was right, like probably 2 years after we got married. We're like, man, we wish we would have spent all that money on a wedding and saved the money and then went and had this big old honeymoon and traveled the world. But thinking about it now, I wouldn't have changed a thing.
Really?
Yeah. It was such a fun time.
That's good.
We had an absolute blast.
That's cool. I think the key is really just appreciating what you chose to do.
Right.
Because we can always look back and go, oh, we shouldn't appreciate it.
It was
Appreciate
good.
what we chose to do.
It was a good day.
The dance battle that happened,
Oh, that was epic.
people still talk about
Do they?
our reception. It was
I
amazing.
think.
It was good. They still do. They may not know it, but they still
What
talk
would
about
you
it.
have changed?
I don't know if I really would have changed much. You know, the hard part was I guess it would have been if I could have.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be careful how I say this. I was brand new here.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have the years of experiences. I had a lot of new friendships that people were with because you had like 42 people on your side.
I did not. I had 13.
13. 13. The camera had to pan just to catch all the people in the front. And what would have been fun is to have some of the relationships I have now.
Right.
And I know we can look,
they're well established now.
and to be able to go back and be like, hey, to have those, not that I don't appreciate those guys that showed up for me, because that I had nobody. Those are my boys from college and my brother and people here from the church.
Yeah.
But it would have been fun to be able to, a lot of people at the wedding, I didn't know.
No.
I didn't. They were like, oh, congratulations. I was like, hey, who are you? So, okay, give me something over the last 13 years that you would change about our marriage.
I think you've already asked me that.
Yeah, but you said I don't know.
No, I said I wouldn't change a thing.
See, I'll name some stuff.
Okay, here we go. What would you change, mister? You better be careful.
You
You're going to catch these hands.
I would love to have gone and go more places.
Oh, travel more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, just go and do, even if it was just the park. I know for you, the park, you're like,
that's
Germ City.
Yeah.
But.
All right.
So you have a young girl sitting at the table wanting to get married.
Mm-hmm.
She's excited. What kind of questions are you going to ask her to see if she's ready to be married?
Oh, my God. You're dropping bombs on me.
I have to. It's 84 degrees in here now.
No, it's already, the heat is squeezing my brain and I can't think. Oh, man.
So some questions. She comes to you and says, I think I want to marry him. What are you going to ask her?
Is he saved? Does he love Jesus?
Okay.
Does he put God first? How many more ways do you want me to say that he's saved?
Right.
I think that's important. I think that's the number one question I would ask. Does he love Jesus? Because when you get into marriage, and if Jesus is not the center of your world and your relationship, your marriage is going to be really hard.
What if they say, well, getting married to him, I'll help him?
No, it don't work like that. Sorry, honey. You're crazy.
The Bible says don't be unequally yoked, because it's not, it's
not an easy ride. People think that marriage is, let's just say it. I think the world paints a picture like this, that when you get married, all you do is have sex all the time. Mm-hmm. And it's not like that. I hate to break it to you, but it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
You have to work through each other's quirks. You have to work through each other's, how they do this or you do that, or I want it this way, you want it that way. Mm-hmm. You have to work through how you discipline your kids, how you, how you go to church, what denomination you're going to be, how you're going to raise your children. Are your children going to go to church? Mm-hmm. You have to figure all this out. Mm-hmm. And that's work.
Because all of those come with things. You talk about even with the sex, your body went through so many different conditions and medical conditions and struggles and fights. Mm-hmm. We had to walk through that together.
Yeah.
It, for better or worse, was tested on our relationship very quick.
Yeah.
Because of the things you had to go through with your body. But then also for me, there's a phrase that I'm still learning. And it's don't stop doing the things it took to get her.
Right.
Once you've got her.
Right.
I think of all the things that I'm always like, man, I used to do that. Mm-hmm. Let me work on that. Mm-hmm. Let me, what are the things that I used to, write you or draw you or do?
Oh, you wrote me poems all the time.
All the time.
Draw me pictures.
Right. And I don't know if I feel like I'm dumb now. I'm like, oh, Lord, that's kind of cheeseball, But what are those things that I do for you that I always want to look back and ask someone, are you willing to wake up every day over the next how many years you're alive? Notice I didn't say married, but alive. Mm-hmm. To ask, how can I be a better husband today?
Right.
I'm not perfect. And I think that's one of the hardest parts about marriage is I'm the face of New Life. I'm Pastor Chris, but you see me at my worst. Mm-hmm. You see me at my weakness.
Yeah.
You've seen me at my hardest times. And I think that's the hardest part is that we get a front row seat of our weakest moments.
Right.
I get the front row to your weakest moments. Mm-hmm. And love depends on what you do with those moments. Right. Do I exploit them or do I grow them?
You grow them.
Most of the time, I've seen a lot of people in relationships, they exploit them.
Right.
So what are some tips that you would have for somebody going through a marriage, going through a relationship? Just some tips. Let's go back and forth. Let's give some tips that you have for young couples or just couples in general.
Okay, you go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, I want you to go first.
And I'd say this. Always speak to your spouse in a way that if your children were watching, they would be okay with being spoken to the same way. Like, good. I need to make sure I always speak to you in honor. Mm-hmm. I don't ever need to dress you down, or I need to be careful with how I speak to you. Mm-hmm. And because I don't want to devalue you even in your own head. Right. And I'm not perfect at this. You and I both aren't. We're learning and growing in this. So I would say always make sure when you're speaking to the other, you speak in honor and do it in a way to where your children wouldn't be shocked of how you look. Right. What about you?
Never stop dating each other.
Good. I like that.
Yeah. I love going out on dates. I love getting dressed up. I love doing all that
You
stuff.
look good too, girl.
Oh, thanks, You're silly. But that's what we did. That's how we figured out who each other was. And I think that's important in a relationship. It's easy to let that fall by the wayside because, it's not a priority, but it should be a priority.
And like even with our dating, it's, we've got our things. Like we have our shows.
Yeah.
Like that's our thing. If we can't go out anywhere, shoot, we just go put the kids to sleep. Let's go sit down and watch our show. Mm-hmm. And I have taught you the way of Chris Larson.
Oh my gosh.
I've ruined you in such a beautiful way.
Me. I can't watch a movie without guessing what's going to happen at the end.
I've taught her. Now she's sitting there going, oh my gosh, he's going to die next. Watch it. And you act like you hate it.
He's going to get poked in the eye.
Yeah.
Watch.
And then and then the knife comes through. Criminal Minds. If you want to sponsor it. Oh, no, just kidding. That's not even doing anymore. No. But that's our thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that. Find your thing. Some people, like we've started doing now, we try to go walking at least a few times a week as a family. Yeah. Or like when the girls go to school, just you, me, and Houston. Yeah. And just go walk and talk. Go walk and just, because I can tell you this, and this is something just, I guess, transparency. With our kids, with our jobs, with our lives, with everything we have, this doesn't happen maybe as often as it should if you and I just sit and talking this long. Right. Right? And it's we're learning to grow from this. Yeah. Because we'll get our focus, we'll grab our phone real quick, and it's looking at it like, okay, hey, let's work on that this week. Yeah. So you said dating. I would say, and this is just a tip that I would say, I guess women can do it too, but it's mostly for the men. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's my best friend. They will always respect you. Don't let your friends, don't let your family, don't let anyone ever disrespect your wife. Ever. You know how I am. Shoot, if somebody starts talking crazy to you,
no.
Crazy Chris shows up.
Not you.
But I don't want it to be to where certain people have a right. All these stories just start running through your brain.
My brain. Yeah.
They're under the blood. Leave them alone.
Okay, I'll leave them
it's
tucked away.
I want it to be to where I don't care who it is. I honor you in front of everybody. You've trusted me. But also just, I don't care if they're my best friend. My best friend doesn't need to get reckless or get out of pocket talking to you crazy.
Yeah, because I'll snatch him up.
Yeah, because you're kind of crazy too.
Yeah, I am crazy.
What else? Give me another.
I think having fun. Don't forget to have fun in your relationship or your marriage. That's important. Yeah. To chase each other and play tag and, be silly. Maybe not practical jokes. We're not going to go there. But have fun for sure. I'm still getting you back, by the way. It's coming.
We're not going there because you asked for that.
Don't know where.
You asked for that.
But it's coming.
It was your fault. Anyway. No, I think having fun is extremely important. Now, but also using wisdom, like keep you away from Monopoly. You're not allowed to play Monopoly with our children.
I am everybody's even playing field. Everybody's fair game. If you're going to play with me, you better get ready for some smoke.
Our 10-year-old
I'm just saying.
is sitting there and she's crying because Chelsey just stole all the houses. But then Chelsey will lose all her houses and go, I can't stand this game. And like, there's just another version of Chelsey that comes out with Monopoly.
I'm super competitive.
Super competitive to the point of if our child is crying, you're like, those tears ain't paying for this house, boy.
Stop it. I did not.
Yeah, Haven's weeping in the corner. You still gonna give me them hotels or what?
Give me that property.
Yeah, no joke. But then you rage quit if it doesn't go your way.
I do not.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I did rage quit that one time.
That one time. But we've always
It was during quarantine. I had a lot of pressure on me.
But we've always found things to do like that.
Yeah.
To have fun, compete, dance, act like a fool.
Yeah.
You know, that's always fun.
Yeah.
And we've always brought our kids into it.
Right.
We've always brought our kids into these fun things, like having fun. For some reason,
It is hot in here.
it's now 92. No, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't doubt it.
So I think, you know, fun is a huge spot too, because I've always said this to you. If I ever get to a point to where I don't make you laugh anymore.
Right. Oh, speaking of making me laugh, what did Houston do today?
Oh, my
What you
gosh.
wanted to save till.
I'm so glad you reminded me. So I was waiting to tell you this just because it was so amazing. So Houston runs out of his bedroom with nothing but underwear on and his Spider-Man mask. And he goes, Dad, I'm getting a snack. And I said, cool.
Okay.
And he goes to the cabinet and goes, Dad, you're my web. And I said, okay.
Okay.
And he goes, Daddy, I want the Fruit Loops. Okay? And I have to grab it and pull it to him. Coolest thing ever, right?
Oh my gosh.
I'm
His
walking
imagination.
great. Until he got too smart for his own pants. I'm cleaning the house.
Yeah.
Said, son, your mom's on the way home. Go clean your room. 5 minutes later, he
Dad,
runs
come
out.
be my
Dad, you're going to be my web. I'm going to sit on my bed and I'm going to...
Smart.
I'm not making this up.
Smart.
Our 3-year-old
He's gonna
tried to
be-
make me forced labor to cleaning his room because I was going to
Kid
be
is
his
smart.
web.
He's going to be an entrepreneur one day. I mean, that was a genius
I
idea.
almost did it because that was such a beautiful thing.
Yes, you should have.
And he didn't understand why I wouldn't do it.
Christopher.
He was furious. Daddy, you're my web. And
Yeah.
looked at me like,
Go pick up
it
that
up.
toy.
I was said, this fool better come.
Smart.
Listen,
Man.
listen. That amazed me. I was like, oh my gosh, if I could have had that on video. But, and I think laughing at ourselves,
Oh, for sure.
I think sometimes we can get too serious.
I don't think I'm ever serious.
No, you're not.
No, I'm never serious.
No, well, you are when you're mad, but you're never mad.
Knock you out very gently. Give me the chloroform, Jorge.
Wow. It just took a dark turn. We might have to clip that out. We might have to put like a subtitle over it. Get me the prayer cloth, Jorge. Like
Prayer cloth.
prayer cloth.
Calm down.
Wow. Give me the
You
anointing
can now
oil.
purchase your prayer cloth at.
Wow.
I'm just
No,
kidding.
ever.
I'm kidding.
Ever. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I just ate the mic. My bad.
Hey, Chris. I haven't
Sorry,
seen
am
Chelsey
I
on
really
any
red?
more.
Is it?
Yeah,
I
it's hot in here.
feel like I am like 10 shades
I
of
haven't seen
tomato.
Chelsey on the podcast in a while. Yeah, we have to really space those out.
Listen.
No. But I think also one thing that we've learned is that having kids tests you in a way that you've never dreamed when you're married.
Right.
It tests you.
Oh, yeah. It takes you to your core. You get to find out who you really are.
You find
what
out
you made
real how
of.
crazy you are.
Oh, yeah. Real
you
crazy.
know, I can still remember times that you tell me about this and I had to change it. the mad face I would get when I'd get upset. And I didn't know it.
Yeah.
And I had no clue.
Right.
And I had this mad face I would have when I would be upset.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, Chris, you can't do that anymore. But I had to trust you enough to listen to something I couldn't see.
Yeah.
I would say that's another thing of you need to marry somebody that loves you enough that will tell you in love the things that you need to change.
Mm-hmm.
Because you and I've changed so much. We are not the same people.
Mentally and physically.
Amen. Leave my toddler bod alone. I found out I'm not a dad bod. I'm just a toddler bod. Houston and I have the same physique. But
I'm going to get you a t-shirt that says
thanks, babe. But you know what? Find someone that's going to love you through your different stages.
Yeah.
Right? You know,
it's for better or for worse.
We are not who we used to be physically. Amen. But
3 kids later.
But loving each other through that.
Right.
Loving each other. You truly are the most beautiful woman I've ever set my eyes on. But is that the only time I've ever said that to you?
No.
I say that to you all the time.
He embarrasses me all the time.
It's
in
fun.
Grocery stores, at Whataburger.
Listen, if you're not...
He gets joy out of embarrassing me. It brings him strange happiness to embarrass me.
How dare a husband tell his wife how gorgeous
Very
she
loudly,
is?
Screaming at the top of your lungs.
Weren't there sonnets that was reading about, I would scream of your beauty from the top. I just take it seriously.
Oh my God, it's getting thick. Y'all roll up your pants.
Okay, so let's talk about tips about young couples that have kids that have young children. Young moms, what's some tips? About couples, of not just about working with their kids, but young parents.
So when the kids were small, it was Presley and Haven are only 2 years apart. Actually, they're 23 months and 5 days apart, which is weirdly, Chris and I are 23 months and 5 days apart.
Crazy.
Little weird fact about us. But
Crazy.
anyways.
We just found that out too, right?
Yeah, I just figured it out
Yeah.
probably a month ago. It was anyway. When you were working and they were really young, so they were born super close together, and I'd be home really late with them because you were working at Chelsey, and so you would come home like at 3:00 in the morning, and I was exhausted. I was exhausted from the day with 2 little ones under the age of 2, and you would always make a conscious effort to the next morning to let me sleep in or to play with them, make them breakfast so I could just get a little bit of me time to get my sanity back.
Yeah.
You know, because it really does take something out of you. Yeah. You're just tired and you get tired of saying no all the time. No, don't touch that. Stop doing that. Stop it. No. You know, get off of there.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me breathe?
Can you hear me? No, I see that picture that you sent me. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. It's in my head now. But I think that was important when we were young. And even to this day, like when you get up with Houston or take the girls to school, it's little things, you know, that just give me a little bit of extra rest or, you know, just a moment to breathe and to gather myself again so that I can be the best mom that I need to be for them.
Yeah.
Because it's easy. You know, kids can bring it out of you. Anybody can bring it out of you.
They're going to bring it out of you.
Yeah. And I think it's good to see when each other is lacking so you can pick each other up and say, you know, I see that you need a break. Mm-hmm. You need to go take 5, go take a bath or, you know, whatever. Yeah. And just give yourself a minute.
But you and I also do that too about hobbies. Like if you want to go get out with your friends, go get out with your friends.
Let's be real. I don't have hobbies.
No. We're going to find you one.
Chris has hobbies.
I
have no hobbies.
We're trying to find her one.
I don't want a hobby. Okay.
So, thank you. We have broken a wall. You don't want one.
I don't want a hobby.
Hanging out with your friends is kind of a hobby, though. You like that. That is your getaway.
It's not a hobby. It's just hanging out with my friends. I love to hang out with my friends.
See, but we've never had a problem ever about, hey, go get out with your friends.
Taking turns.
Go do it. Because I know It's all right. You are hot.
No, like,
I know,
really.
physically hot.
Like, I'm melting.
I know, you're
as
that
we
hot.
Speak,
Everything's
like,
melting
it's
because
just
you're in the room.
melting off my face.
We've made it sure to where you have something to where you go a place and you're not Miss Larson. You're not Mom. You're just Chelsey.
Yeah.
And you have people you can go to. I've got my things, my people I go to where we don't have to do, but making sacrifices for each other and communicating those things.
Right.
It's so big because you have to have your moments you get away.
Right.
You have to, because you can tell that look on the face.
Oh, yeah. You get that crazy look, and then your eye starts twitching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It happens.
See, I used to think that was like, oh, my Lord, something's wrong.
I'm kidding.
But I think what happened too.
Cut that out.
I think what that comes to is that there's an old school mindset that just the man's been working all day, now he needs a break. And don't get me wrong, some jobs
Heck no.
are, but
I mean, if
Hold
you've
on.
been working and your shift work and you actually need sleep
yes,
so that you don't kill somebody the next day, I guess that's a good excuse.
but what it is finding out watching
But-
kids is just as mentally stressful.
Oh, super.
And
I mean, you are dealing with somebody that does't understand probably half of what you're saying. You're trying to talk on their level.
you talking about me? Because I'm still learning what you say and mean half the time.
Really?
Yeah, I have an app
Okay.
that'll listen to what you say and it'll go,
Whatever.
this is what she
Translate
said.
what I'm saying. You're so dumb.
But I think another thing that I would suggest for couples is find something your other half loves and learn something about it. Like
I am not learning disc golf.
Not
better
disc golf.
get that out of your brain. He did that for himself right there. I hate disc golf.
I'm actually going to give you a
I
compliment.
am terrible.
I'm actually going to give you a compliment.
golf.
You ready?
I'm ready.
One of your first big presents to me ever was tickets to an Alabama game.
I know. I did good with that
See,
one.
look at you all trying to throw me under the bus with disc golf. You bought me tickets and took me to my first ever
Where did
Alabama
you
game.
sit?
Oh, we were on the 50-yard line front row.
Front row.
Now,
Who
granted,
could not see the whole
Chelsey
game?
couldn't see the
this
whole
girl
game.
could not see the
She
whole
could-
game because I'm too short. I'm just saying.
We were like, we should have been right there.
We should have gotten over the hedge.
I was on ESPN for like 3 seconds. Remember, I stood on the wall.
Yeah.
But finding out things, about things that we love, things that we enjoy, things that, that mean something to us. Like fashion means something to
yeah,
you.
I love
right?
fashion.
Fashion. Now,
love
something
clothes.
you said my disc golf, leave it, you're never going to get it. I will never understand your fascination ever about boils and pimples and skin crud getting cut off. There is a place in your brain that I am afraid is gone forever. That is
Now let's be
entertaining.
very specific. I don't like to watch the gross stuff. It's just like blackheads and stuff like that.
Oh my
Melissa Morris, I love you.
They all love these things. Now she's infected my daughter. I'll walk in and they're watching somebody getting
We're
prodded
watching
and poked. I'm
Dr.
like,
Pimple
quit
Popper.
it. That's disgusting. Preston's like, oh my gosh, that's a lipodermaclobacidibita. And I'm like, how did you know what that was?
I can identify what people have on their bodies.
Okay,
now.
no. Let's talk about it. We were at that place and a friend of mine.
And he had a lipoma on his neck and he needed to get
and
it
Chelsey
removed.
goes, Christopher,
Oh my God, that's a lipoma.
he has
Go
a
get it removed.
lipoma. And I said, what's a lipoma?
Oh
She
my
goes,
gosh.
I know what it is. He needs to get it cut and he's going to see a doctor.
And then there's this girl that I follow on Instagram who has a cyst on her forehead that she needs to go get it removed.
We're going to tag her. I'm just kidding.
I can't watch her anymore because I can't stop looking at the cyst on her forehead.
Oh, my Lord.
I can't.
I'll never be able to learn that. I apologize. Or like it.
I
Can't do it. Okay. All right. Boom. You ready for this?
Boom. I'm ready.
Okay. What is something I need to work on right now as a husband?
Oh my God.
Or I'm working on? Something I need to work on is something I'm working on.
I would say, like when I ask you to do something
Mm-hmm.
and you're like on your game or you're on your phone or something and you'll forget and then I have to keep reminding you, hey, don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
and then you forget. Mm-hmm. But you've been working on that. I feel like you've been really working on that and gotten a lot better.
Because the reason I say that is because I think it's important for us to, you never reach a point you're not working on your marriage.
Or working on yourself.
Or working on yourself. There's never a point that's not going to happen. You don't arrive to this place. You are constantly working on yourself and working on each other. You always are.
Right. If you think that you're done working, then we need to have a conversation. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what's mine? I'm scared.
I was just going to ask you. I wasn't going to have you. Manhole. So good for you guys to join us today. You are learning on sometimes how you come across.
Oh.
Like some. Yeah. Everybody's like, that was the end of the podcast right there.
Cut. I'm just kidding.
You're learning how, you come across sometimes.
What are you talking about? I'm just kidding.
But
I can't take you seriously.
Right, exactly. But it's us learning those things together. Us learning, it's not just about what you said, but how you said it.
Right.
And, ma'am, next time you're on this podcast, will you please...
It's my children.
Will you please make sure your notifications are off?
My kids are super important. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, sure. It's probably like, there's a new lipoma getting cut. Come see it.
It's my YouTube notifications.
Someone's in pain. Come watch. Something you were bad at the beginning of our relationship that you're pretty good at now.
Cleaning. I was really bad at it. And I have ADD. And so I get super off task. Like I'll stop laughing.
We're thinking of the same thing.
So I'll be cleaning something over here, and then I'll think about something that needs to be done over here, and I'll go do that. And then I'll go over here and do that. And then I'll come over here and do that. And then by the end of the day, I didn't get nothing done.
And then I come home, and she's wore out.
What?
And I'm like, hey, what'd you do today? What? I organized the pills in the bottle. They are stacked
horizontally. And
you don't care about what I sacrifice as a woman.
Yeah. So I've gotten a lot better about staying on top of things. Yeah.
And I'd also say this, and hear me out before you go, oh my gosh. You could cook pretty good when we first got married. You're decent.
I could not cook.
But you are an amazing cook now.
Thanks.
Amazing.
I'm not as good as my friend Holly, but or my mom.
A shout out.
Shout out Holly, I love you.
But
a shout out Madre.
Wow.
Did we do all my friends?
Yeah.
Shout out.
Kayla.
Kayla, I love you, Kayla.
Sorry, this is not that radio. What's up? Hey.
Peace.
We made it.
I'm sweating to death.
Okay, I would say something that I
am sweating to death.
I did not know how to be clean when we first got married.
Oh my God, you were so dirty. You were just dirty. Like, you were physically dirty. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, you would make the biggest messes. So he would shave his face and then leave all of his face hair all around the sink. And that would absolutely drive me crazy.
Mm-hmm. Dang, girl, clipping that mic.
I'm just saying.
I've gotten a lot. Now I'm like on the opposite side. I don't like to be messy. And when I am messy, it's because you.
It's because of me.
But okay, so all right, I'll say this. One thing that we've learned before about even jobs at the house. We go back and forth because you love to do the dishes.
Oh, I hate doing the dishes.
But then you love to do laundry.
I hate doing the laundry. If I could just literally do nothing, can I just
I think everybody says
sit on
that.
the couch and watch TV all day?
But then we look at it now to where, the way we take care of our house, we've got it now to where people come over. I mean, we've always preached it, but we've really had to learn to even walk it out.
Right.
Of anybody can come to our house at any time now.
Right.
And it's always in place.
Right.
You know? But we've learned a lot of stuff in our marriage. We've learned how to parent.
We grew up together.
We grew up together.
We were kids.
We are getting close to knowing each other longer than we didn't know each other. Because I've known you for 14 years now. Mm-hmm. I met you when I was 18.
Oh, wow.
We're getting close.
We're getting old.
We are getting old. But,
I'm getting old.
But I'll tell you this. And I don't just say this here. I literally mean it. There's no one else in the world I'd rather get old with than you. It's fun.
Thanks, Ben.
Because one of my favorite things about you, I'll start it, is something funny will happen and you'll laugh. And then later that night, randomly, you'll just start laughing. I'm like, what? And you'll go, and it'll hit you again. And it's the funniest thing. That's my goal, is to get it to where you can't breathe when you're laughing. Like, just to get to that wheeze.
Give me the hiccup.
Give you the hiccups, and then you'll punch me. So that's one of my favorite things about you, is your laugh. I love the joy you have with your laugh. All right. Tell me one of your favorite things about me.
We're doing this.
We are.
Okay.
I'm waiting for, oh my gosh, this is a hard one.
Let's think here.
Notice how fast I had mine.
Because he had thought of it in his head. He knew what his answer was going to be. Let's see. How you love me.
Yeah.
You love me beyond my imperfections. I would say that's one of my very favorite things. You don't say what I see.
Yeah.
You see beyond me. And I love that.
Well, it's like, to you, you see stretch marks from babies. Mm-hmm. To me, I see, I mean, those are medals. You've earned those. You carried my children.
Yeah.
You know, you sacrificed your body for us to have a child together. You know, you see these things. For you, you're like, oh, I hate these, but man, you've earned those to have life with me. Mm-hmm. Like that's a symbol that you sacrificed for me. So no doubt I'm gonna love that. There's no doubt I'm gonna love those things about you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna love those things. I love that. You know, I love how much our kids love music based on how much we listen to it now.
Yeah.
You can't be in the vehicle without music going on.
And it's old school stuff too.
I love it.
Half the kids in Presley's class didn't know what half the songs she was requesting.
Yes.
For her playlist.
She was asking stuff. They were like, "What is that?
What is that?"
And we're like, "Really?"
Oh, what made me feel super old the other day?
Who? Tell me.
They didn't know what. Oh, what show was it? We were at the birthday party and they had no idea what. Oh my gosh. I think it was like I'm drawing a blank. I think it was Saved by the Bell. They didn't know what Saved by the Bell was, and I was going,
shout out Zach Morris.
How do you not know who Saved by the Bell is?
This is what we're going to end with. Ready? And it's just more of a point that both of you and I have learned. Mm-hmm. You aren't always going to feel love.
That was something Miss Cindy taught me. I would tell her, I just don't have the butterflies today. And she'd say, baby, that's okay.
Yeah.
And that was something learned and something a older woman seasoned in her marriage taught me.
Yeah.
Because you won't feel the butterflies every time he walks into a room.
No.
You just won't. That you get used to each other.
Yeah. And you have to fight to break out of that commonality.
You do.
There's days to where we have to choose that we love each other. We have to choose. I'm going to be a peaceful person. I'm going to be this. And because if we just relied on how we felt,
right,
we'd never get past middle school relationships.
Exactly.
Because that's what it is. Think about it. Middle school relationships. Oh, when you feel.
It's all about feeling.
It is. And you're not always going to feel it. Mm-mm. I choose you past what I feel. You choose me past what you. That's why we're sitting here at 13 years.
Right. And then there's moments like where you take my breath away. And
that'll take a breath away.
there is those moments, and it's a reminder of those, the way you used to feel, or those butterflies, and
and knowing that they still happen. There's seasons to where we push through. There's seasons to where like you can't stop talking to each other. And then there's seasons you're like, we haven't talked in a while, we need to talk.
There's seasons where you need to go to the other room and let me have a minute.
But what's so funny is that those are things that like somebody that was emotional like me. Mm-hmm. Very emotional.
And I'm not.
No.
I'm not emotional
at all. I'm just kidding. But I had to learn.
Come across this table.
Our first fight, we sat in the car, and I said, "Well, I guess that's it." And you said, "What are you talking about? We were in the car in your Eclipse." Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you said, "I'm with you, right? Okay, then stop." But I needed someone that was willing to look past the weakness of my emotions and to say, "I'm here. I'm not going anywhere." I needed that.
Yeah, I had to slap you around a little bit.
You did. It's okay. What are some things about me that you've needed over the years?
Your get up and go. I remember when you got fired. Mm-hmm. And I was a new mom, and I had quit my job to stay home with Presley. And I was thinking, what are we going to do? I'm going to have to go get a job. And you said, nope, I've got this. I'm going to go get a job tomorrow. And sure enough, you had a job by the next day. In your way that you take care of us and provide for us. And I never have to worry about being protected or being taken care of. That's what I love about you. And your determination to do it.
You have softened my approach on so many different things. No. Right. You have softened my approach on so many different things, but you have showed me the power of like being a dad raising girls is hard.
Being a mom raising girls is hard.
And you
raising kids is hard.
You teach me so much. You have softened me out so much, but you've showed me those little moments to where I can tell you how many times where I would stop or I wouldn't get it, and you'd go, "No, Chris, put that down." But you were like, "This moment's more important." Mm-hmm. And you would teach me those little,
Because if I couldn't teach you, the Holy Spirit was going to teach you.
Mm-hmm. And see,
I'm going to stick the Holy Spirit on you.
See, but that's why now Houston always goes, "Dad, you want to wrestle?" Because that's a normal thing.
Right.
Wrestling is a normal thing in our house. Playing is a normal thing in our house.
And that had a lot to do with being young too. Mm-hmm. You learn to take your head out of the gadgets and really dive deep into a relationship with our kids.
And I can literally say all of our kids, from Aaron down to Houston, we have our own unique relationships.
Oh, every single one of them. Not one is the same.
No. One more thing that you've learned from me over the years.
Let's think. You've taught me how to love.
Okay.
You've taught me how to love in so many different ways. You've taught me how to be more compassionate. I am not compassionate, if you don't know that about me.
Chelsey, don't lie to them. She is extremely compassionate. No,
I am very black and white. Mm-hmm. And that's how I've always been. I am, justice. I am for justice. And you've taught me that there's more ways to skin a cat, than just one way. Yeah. And that is something that I have come to learn about myself just because of the ways that you show me a roundabout way of a different approach, or what the other person is thinking, or get inside someone else's head and show me that it's not just black or white.
Okay. You have taught me what it is to associate really of what people are going through for things I don't understand. Mm-hmm. I've experienced so many things in life. Mm-hmm. So I've experienced so many things, and I can associate with so many different things. It's simple for me.
Yeah.
But then some things like emotional or body issues or mind issues, or you've shown me what it is to have patience and to speak to, you've brought the best out of me to love you through and understand what it was to truly be one. You've taught me what that is to truly what it is to be one, and to see the little things that are important. I'm a big dreamer.
Oh, big time.
I'm a big dreamer.
And I had to learn how to not crush your dreams because I am so much of a black and white person. And that's what my mom taught me was, Chelsey, you cannot crush his dreams. You have got to allow him to dream. And some of them will fizzle out and some of them will come to fruition. But you have to let him dream. And
so you taught me that dreams are great, but what's step one?
Right.
What's practical?
Yes.
And we've brought that, and that's why things like this happened the way they have.
And I think that's why we work so well together, is that you're the dreamer and I'm the practical person. Well, how much is that going to cost? How are we going to do that? What's the 1, 2, and 3? How do we get there?
So, what is one piece of advice for relationships going from this point you could give? What's a Chelseyism? A big piece of advice.
Chelseyism.
Give me a Chelseyism real quick.
That's scary.
That's available to be on public without scaring people. What's it? Give me a piece of relationship advice to finish us out.
Don't take yourself so daggum seriously.
Yeah.
If you are too good for your own shoes and you don't want to have fun and you can't be silly and you can't be funny.
I'm going to remind you this when I try to dance with you in HEB or something.
Yeah, don't take yourself so seriously. That would be my one piece of advice. And have fun. Don't forget to have fun.
Yeah. I would say 2 things. Before everything in my life, you're my first.
Oh, that's good.
Before my kids. Before my job. It's not, you are number one. Because if you are my number one, everything else will flow off of that.
Right.
First, my relationship with God. And then you. But kids aren't on the same level as you. And many people will misunderstand that.
Oh, yeah. And it's easy, too, to get that misconstrued. Because especially for moms, like, you have this whole different love that you don't even know. You can't even put into words, you know. And
then second thing I would say is, don't rob yourself of all the little moments that make out the memories.
Right.
The little moments. Dad, you're my web. Pick this up, right?
That was like that video we watched today. What was her phrase?
This is one of those good times.
What was it? I gotta exactly quote it. I said it to Mama. Hold on, let me look it up. And it was so true because it is so easy to get lost in the mix of. There it is. Okay, what did I say? This is a happy moment.
This is a happy moment.
And it's so true. Like, you will get so frustrated and you just lose sight.
Yeah.
But really take advantage and soak it in.
Like, it's even funny, like moments like this. You and I are 13 years deep into marriage, and we still love each other enough to sit on the other side of microphones and talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, this is a happy time. This is a happy moment. This is a happy moment. That wasn't creepy at all. We're going to end on that one. No, I thank you so much for coming to talk to me.
Absolutely.
I love you so much.
I love you.
I think you might be one of the most popular guests that we ever have. They're going to be like, bring Chelsey back just to watch her laugh and wheeze.
I don't think I wheezed.
You didn't? What?
Wheezed.
Wheezed.
Don't like wheezed.
I'm going downhill very fast.
Dang it, I bit it again. I think this mic, I don't know. Can you hear me breathe?
Hey, guys. So, thank you guys so much for joining us on our podcast. This is us. I don't know any other way around it. She can't just not.
Sorry, I cannot just sit still. You saw me wiggle this entire time. I just can't help myself. It's really hot in here.
It is. It's 85 now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Very excited about the episode that's coming out next week. It'll be a little surprise for you. We love you guys, and we'll see you next episode. Thanks.
Bye.